This is Mikey from Lost Treasure Designs. Tonight we're going to be creating the Folio end junk journal kit called Lacey Wings and Fairy Dreams. I'm going to go over the papers with you so that you can know how to print them out. So pages 1 and page 2 says a print on the back of designer paper. There is a matching paper that this kit comes with that you'll want to print that on just so that it has the same background here. You could choose to do a different one. That's the one I chose to go with. Okay, so these other pages, it's optional whether you want to print something on the back of. I did not print anything on the back of these two, but I did use a green stamp to just add some color to the backs of this tag and those, just so when I cut them out I'll have a little bit of color on the backs of them. So I've done that on this one and on that one. Again, don't worry about printing anything on the back of those because you're not going to see them. These ones I did print. This is page 5 that I printed. Page 6 I didn't worry about anything. Page 7 I did, only because it's a bigger pocket and you open it up so you do see behind it. And then the rest of them, I think I went ahead and put one of the designer papers on the back of, just because I like to waste ink. No, it's because I really like the look of having color on both sides and not just white. The kit comes with a journal cover. This is the journal cover. This I print on cardstock. The rest of the journal, well, I print it comes with the cover and then like a back for the cover, and then the rest I print on 32-pound premium paper, which I think really brightens it up, and I just like that paper. It's thinner than the cardstock, but it still feels really nice. Okay, so I'm going to set these off to the side. I've gone ahead and I have already cut out, this is pages 1 and 2 that I've cut out. I've scored them along the score lines here, and I've also inked them. I just took a little ink, went around the sides with that. I chose to go with vintage photo, the distressed ink for this that I went around with. So I've cut both those out, have them scored. This is page 2, it says attached to panel page 1. So we're going to attach it like this, and these two are going to join together to make 4 panels. So I'm going to go ahead and run some tape. I'm going to use a combination of tape and glue. The tape helps me be able to do this faster, but you could just use glue, and the glue really helps secure things down and helps things to be able to move around. The tape helps me so that it attaches right away. You could use both. It's up to you. You will notice that this kit, just like our other kits, it's very versatile for you to come up with your own style of creating it. Because I want you guys to, enjoy having the kit so that you can just put everything together that goes together. But I also want you guys to have an option to make it your own. Okay, so now we've got these sides. You can see where the score lines, I also went and inked those as well. Okay, I'm going to flip this over back to the front here. When we close this up, this one in the center is actually going to be your front. This is your back, and then these are 2 side in folio. So it's going to fold like so. So I'm going to first focus on this center one, and it comes with 4 different panels, so you can choose which panel you want as your first panel. So again, I didn't print on the backs, but I did go around and ink the edges so that I don't see the stark white border around those. Like a piece of tape stuck to my hand. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one because I think she's pretty as my main cover for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and outline this with some glue. It doesn't really matter how you apply your glue. You can apply it smooth or just squeal it around like I do. I'm just going to line that up. And I kind of print these so that we're not wasting like a bunch of ink on these sections that you're not even going to see. So I'm just going to use this. Spread my glue out underneath. Use my fingers to clean it up. Okay, so I've got that panel down. While I have this panel down, I'm going to do the closure. So the kit comes with 2 different of these circle things. You could tie a ribbon around that, which is what I also do. I would put a ribbon on this panel and this panel that strings across, and then I'd have it so that you could tie the ribbon on the side here. I'm going to do one where I'm going to use these little button closures to do that. I'm going to put one on this side, and I'm going to put one on this back side, and then use them so that I could string around them. I'll show you how to do that. So I've taken a piece of chipboard. This was just a scrap left over from another project, and I've glued that down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out now that they have dried. It's really up to you how you want to finish it off. There's lots of different ways to close up your folios and journals, and this is just one option because we all like options, right? Okay. Try to go as straight as I can. Alright, now just go ahead and toss that in the trash. I'm going to grab my ink. I like to put these in bags because I do a lot of my inking when I'm in my car waiting for the kids to get out of school. And I don't like the ink getting all over the place, so alright. Got that one done, and I've noticed that this particular color isn't as like strong as other colors. I like really have to press it in there. Okay, so I've got my buttons. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of eyeball where I want it to go. And then, where is I've got a piece of foam here. And it's just a dense piece of foam that I saved from something. And I'm going to put that underneath. Line this up. And then I'm going to use a poker tool. And try to find the center. And I'm just going to punch a hole down through. Then I've got this kind of this copper, aged copper brad that I'm going to use. I'm just going to push that. Might have to push it in on this side and then go through because that didn't make the biggest hole. And this chipboard is really stiff. I'm going to try another one. I'm going to put that, maybe wiggle it around a bit in there. There, that made it a little bigger. There we go. So then I chose that because it kind of matched that coppery look to the other side. Okay, I'm going to push that down. I'm going to flip this over and open up this side. Oh, before I open that up though, I want to leave just a little bit of space in between. So I've cut a piece of chipboard, made a little cutout, and then I'm going to slip this in here. Then I'm going to open these up because now I can really push these down and they'll have enough space for me to string some ribbon through. Okay, so I've got those down. I'm just going to grab a little bit of tape. Put over that. I'll take that tape off in a little bit when I cover it with a pocket. But it will get out of our way for a second. Okay, I'm going to pull that out. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my back panel. You get to pick which one you like best. I'm going to go with this one. Give me a little bit more room for this other button. So, yeah. Line that up and spread my glue. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing we did over here. Put that down. I'm going to kind of use this to help me position this guy in about the same location. I'm going to move this over because I want it to match this one, how it kind of hangs out. Poke my hole, and then I'm going to help myself out by kind of making that hole a little bit wider. We'll use this all bent up one and see if we can get it in there this time. Come on. Oh, there we go. If it bends, just bend it back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and poke it through this side. Use that little doohickey. Flip that over and open up this side. Oh, I'm going to turn it. It'll take up less space for me, I think, if I have it facing that way. I'm pressing this down really well because it got mangled. Okay, put a piece of tape. All right. I'm gonna get this put away so it's out of my way. Okay. So now we've got our two closures. When we add a thing, we'll add the ribbon that goes around and we can tie it to both sides. Okay. So now we can go ahead and put these other two panels like so. like to keep some wet wipes on hand, so when my fingers get super sticky, I can clean them off. You'll notice that I never put my glue down the same way twice. Almost put that down upside down. That would have been funny. Not. All right. So now our front panels are all done. We're going to flip it over this way. Now we've got, this is our little middle flap. It'll go like that. It looks like this. Once you cut it out, you'll score it here along that line, score it in the center, and score it on the end where it's going to attach. So I like to open it up this way. Make sure this is nice and, ew, I bent that funny. Let's try again. Ooh, those are like wanting to go all wonky. Okay, I'm gonna go run some glue along. Goodness, I'm not going in a straight line very well. And I'm gonna go along the bottom. I got a little glue here, so I'm going to just grab it with my finger. Okay, and this is just going to fold over, and I just like to make sure that my bottom is even and that my top is as close to being even as I can get it. Glue on that. Okay, so now our next step is we're going to glue this strip. Make sure that I scored it, but it needed to fold a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue this to here, and you can choose whether you're going to have it be centered or have it like go all the way down to the bottom, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to line the edge of this up with this score line, and I'm just going to make sure that this goes in the center of this because I want it to be able to close when it closes and not get like in the way. And then having glue instead of taping it down helps me to move it around a little bit more. So when this closes, you can choose to have it like close like this so that when you open it, it has that, or you could just tuck it in. It's up to you. Like I said, very versatile. Okay, so now the kit comes with lots and lots and lots of pockets. More pockets than you probably need. That's because I want to give you, options to do different things, but I also want you to be able to use some pockets for your journal as well. So you can decide how you're going to lay this out, whether you want to have like 3 pockets going along the side here. Maybe you want, these layered pockets. You've also got these side pockets, which I'm not sure. They might be too big, but I'm going to try. Oh, they are a perfect size if you wanted to use them in your journal, which is what I think I'm going to do because I like that. So I'm going to save these for the journal and set them off to the side. So then I'm actually going to put these pockets like that, and then my two sides, I'm going to use these curved pockets. And then on these sides, I'm going to use these so that I have lots of pockets for all the fun stuff that comes with it. Okay, I've gone ahead and scored and inked around my edges. So I'm just going to make sure these are down. I always like to tuck my sides in first, then the bottom. That way you don't get caught on the bottom as you're trying to insert your tags and envelopes and whatnot. Okay, so just a little bit of glue. I'm going to line up. I'm just going to kind of line it into that border that goes around. Might be easier if I got all this stuff in there. It'd be easier if this were flat, so I'm not bending it as I'm pressing down. I have a tendency to press really hard, as if pressing it in is going to like meld it together. Okay, again, tuck your sides in first, then your bottom. Right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with these layered pockets. I'm going to put her up first because she is kind of trying to eyeball where this is going to go. And this is actually in a really good spot for these pockets. And I will show you. So I'm going to make sure my sides are tucked down. And my bottom. Then I'm going to rip this back off, the tape there. And this is actually going to rest right over that brad. So that brad won't even be in our way at all, which is nice. If it were going to be in the way, I would I'd tack a piece of paper over that, or just leave the back of the tape on, just so that it's not snagging on stuff. I would probably cover it. Alright, now this one will go right underneath it. So now I'm going to go over onto this side, and I've got these pockets. And you can decide how you want those laid out. I'm going to put this one that doesn't have a fairy in the center just to balance out the pockets. And I think I'm going to go and do this one first. Normally I would like go from the bottom or the top and work my way up. But I want to make sure that this is covering that. So This, again, turns out to be in a pretty good spot. It's actually not going to quite grab. So I'm going to cover this real quick with just some extra paper. It doesn't matter what it is. This is just some copy paper. I just don't want that to snag on anything when I'm putting things in and out. Okay. Run some glue. And because I have that button on the other side, it's going to kind of be a little harder to press down, so I always flip it over. And that way I can run my tool behind here to really flatten that down. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach these other pockets. Line those up. Again, it helps that if you use glue, so you can wiggle it around a bit. Make sure you have it straight. And then our top pocket. Going to kind of grab the sides so that I put this down, I can kind of tuck it in. And then I'm just giving myself kind of the same spacing in between those. There are those pockets. Now I'm going to go to this end, and you could choose to have it this way. I always try to, if I'm going to do a corner pocket like this, I try to put the pocket opening towards something so that when I'm like trying to close it, that things don't spill out this side. I'd rather them go, you know, you have this to help keep them in. So that's why I'm going to make sure that this is on this side. Just tuck these corners in. Then give it a little bit of a border. Then do this side. This is one of my favorite papers. You don't get to see it that much because it's just an extra paper, but I just really like the colors. The different greens and blues. Okay, so there you have, this is pretty much the bones of the folio, so you can see how that goes together. So now I'm going to grab some string. Well, so this is like some 1/4" ribbon, kind of a thicker ribbon. I have added a little clamp to the side here because I want to add a little charm on the bottom. So this is like, I can't remember what they're called, little press and clamps. I'll figure it out and try to remind you. So I'm going to flip this over to the back side, and I'm going to go in here and just go around, and then I'm just going to tie it off. I normally give myself a lot more leeway because I have fat fingers and it's hard to tie things sometimes. But this was a scrap piece of ribbon that I thought matched pretty well. Okay, so I'm just going to do a double knot. Trim it, and I think that is, I'm not going to worry about it fraying. So now you can take this, if we want, we can have it come around the back. Oh, we don't want it to come around the back. We want to have it go this way around the front, and then you can have it just wrap around so that you have it closed like that, and it'll look really cute with a little doodad on there. I wish I had a copper one that matched this, but I only have those in brass. We'll just ignore it, or I might take a marker and add a little red. Okay, so now I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about doing this journal. So first, I'm going to just put these down since I know where they are going. I'm just going to go around the edge. You do not have to put pockets in this. I'm choosing to cover this really pretty fairy that's kind of lacy and just hiding in there. So I'm not going to see her, but oh well. I know that she's there. I can kind of see a little bit of her face. Okay, put those down. Alright, so now I want the center of this. The easiest way for me to find the center is to just fold this in half. You could measure, but this is quicker. Okay, so I've now got my center. I'm going to grab my pages here, and I think there were only like 8 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, only 6. Okay. So I'm just going to lay this in, and you'll notice that the cover is a little bit wider than the journal pages are. And the reason for that is once it's closed, it kind of hides that little V that it makes. But the top and bottom are the same height. So I'm just going to kind of give myself the same amount on both sides. I'm just kind of eyeballing it there. Then I'm going to grab a little paper clip. You could use a regular paper clip. This is just what I had on hand. I'm just going to clip it so that I can hold my pages together, and then I'm going to flip it over. And use my little foamy piece, come in here, and I can see, I don't know if you can see where the crease of the fold is, but I can. And then I'm going to use, these are some copper staples. And I'm just going to hold these together, and I'm going to put it right, doesn't really matter, I'm going to put 3, so I'm going to put one here, and in the middle, and then up at the top. If you want to get really technical, you could like measure out the same distance. Maybe I'll just use this as my distance that I'll put the first one here. I'm really concerned about, the only thing I'm really concerned about is making sure that my poke here and here match my staple width, because then I'm going to grab one of these staples off of here. Got one, maybe one staple, and then I'm going to poke it in there. That's going all the way through all those pages. Then I can come here and use my tool to push those down. Just be careful you don't poke your finger as you're pushing them down. Use a tool. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to do my top part. This will be slightly off since I took those few staples out. But that's okay. Poke a hole. Poke a hole. Take one of these guys. Not so easy to take these apart. Okay. And we'll do one last one in the center, and I'm just gonna eyeball this side. Where did that other one go? Ah. I can't break it in half. Oh, I feel like I've got all these little pieces of glue coming off my fingers. Come on. Okay. Alright, so now that I have it stapled, I can take that away. Now I can fold that back on that fold, crease that down, and that is a super quick way to bind a journal. I wouldn't go more than 8 pages. It makes it a little thicker to do, but it does a really good job, you know, binding those, and it looks really pretty. I love these colors. I love all the wastes and the fairies. Very cute. Okay, so this is done, and this should fit inside. Yep. So you can, like, I don't know if you can stick it in the side here. We'll see. No, it's a little too wide. I would just set it there and have that fold over, because then it does tie up. Okay, the rest of this is up to you to add all these, you know, extra pieces. This is all the fun embellishments that come with this kit. You can beautify this to your heart's content. But that is how you put together this little kit here. I hope you enjoyed, and follow us for more.